is Gail and Laurel. It's nice to see you tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got a big stream lined up. And there was some confusion. I think YouTube sent out some kind of notification, possibly yesterday. The stream was scheduled for tonight. So we're glad you're here. What we're going to talk about is challenges faced by service dog handlers. Now, I have Service Dog Pipsie, who is a yellow lab and about 70 pounds. And he's a mobility dog, so he wears a mobility harness. And we have Laurel Stewart, and she has Candy, who is a Chihuahua. And I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, Candy is a 7-pound dog, so she's 1/10 of Pipsy's weight, and she's 12 and a half years old. So,
Wow.
Yeah, she's been working for 11, so that's a long time. Yeah, hold on.
It doesn't seem possible.
I'm trying to get you on the YouTube so I can see people's questions is what I'm trying to do. Hold on just a second.
All right.
But yeah, go ahead and start talking, and then I'll join in just a second.
Okay, right now, I don't think we've got anybody here. I do want to point out that if you are catching the replay, or if you're here now and not talking, to go ahead and smash the like button when you like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, and you would, I would appreciate it. My channel is sitting at 4,999 subscribers.
Wow.
So if I could get one, I could hit the big 5,000 mark, which would make me insanely happy.
Okay.
So I'm going to do some sort of giveaway after we cross the 5,000 mark. It's just a matter of when are we going to do it. So keep that in mind, you all. Keep that in mind. Okay. And let's see. I am going to also go ahead and paste this over in the Facebook group.
Oh, okay. So we're going to do that. Okay. I was going to see if you were going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're live right now.
Yeah, we are live. And I'm going to do that. If you all are not familiar with the Facebook group, let me just type that URL in also. It's facebook.com/groups/Gail Vlogs, GAYLE VLOGS. Had that since early on, and unfortunately, the Bodacious was taken, and that was sad. But I'm glad for whoever had it. I hope you have it. I hope you're enjoying it.
What was that again? What happened?
Somebody else got it.
Got what?
The Bodacious name.
Oh, okay.
I was late on the bandwagon, I guess you want to say.
Okay. Well, I still see be Bodacious.
Oh, I'm over in the Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not here.
Okay.
Here we've got it.
Okay. So where are you on the Facebook now? I don't remember now.
It is facebook.com/groups/Gail Vlogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah, someday I hope to change it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Maybe if you kind of change it like Gail B. Bodacious group or something. I don't know if that would work. Because I know somebody has Candy the Sweetheart, not Candy Sweetheart like me. Candy the Sweetheart. But theirs is not a dog. Theirs is about a lady. She does makeup or something. Yeah. And that's why I always tell people when they go to look for candy, it's candy, the wee service dog, and it's all one long word in lowercase.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. So I don't see anybody on here either.
Yeah, I don't see anybody yet.
Okay. Um. Now I did add more pictures, but those are for next week. So next week we'll go into some more detail of some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay, that'd be good. Um,
So some of the pictures look similar, but not exactly the same.
okay.
So yeah, I put the one picture on there where Candy's looking in different directions, but I'm going to explain that she is focused. It's just I have her looking off to the side. Like I said, she follows the phone. When I tell her to focus, she follows the phone, not me. So she's not looking at me. She's looking at the phone that I'm holding out, whether it's left, right, above me, below me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
With with Pipsy, I am trying to get him to look up when I say camera, but he doesn't seem to like the camera. So
oh,
we're making progress. Just
well, do you have a flash on? I don't put the flash
I'm
on.
not put the yeah, no, I'm not going to
Okay.
put the flash on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just not going to do that.
Some dogs don't like it because it, it's similar to some dogs don't like lightning. So it's the same kind of thought
Okay.
pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think it would hurt his eyes. So I don't want to do that.
Oh man, I'm getting all over my clothes. I'm trying to dibble. I well, I tell you, I've been catnapping all day with this headache. Ugh, crazy, crazy neck problem.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So something I have to live with, but oh, I get so tired. Sometimes, then other times it actually gives me a little break. So it's this weather. We had a real big thunderstorm come through, really just about a little over an hour ago, because I was worried whether we were because they would connect because it was really, really rumbling. So I'm glad it stopped. They said there might be another one around 1 or 2 in the morning, but
Well, I hope there's no more.
at
But
least it's calm right now.
I tell you, with after Helene has come through, our whole county has PTSD from that. I am convinced.
What about Pipsy? Is he scared of storms now or no?
No, he's actually rock solid. We can take him through a car wash, a fireworks
Well,
show. It doesn't bother him as long as
I
I'm
thought
calm. He's
Candy
calm.
Candy is the same way. She could really. I told you I didn't have any. I got to get her some headphones, but I didn't have any headphones, and I went to this one big church in Cincinnati called Crossroads. They got 5,000. No, they got 8,000 people,
Oh
and
gosh,
the way the church is set up, it's like a mini stadium, is what it is. So you got um, stadium seating, but they got um, ramps for people to. But once you get to whatever row you want, you either park at the end of the aisle or you transfer into one of the seats. I stayed in my chair because those seats were small. But anyway, the music was too bad until they were playing the little drummer boy, and I didn't know they had like 18 drummers, and each of the drummers had like 4 drums, and they were really pounding them. So what I did, luckily, I had some pot and I put it in her ears, and I held her ears. But she still was watching. She wasn't scared, but I didn't want her to get her hearing damage. But yeah,
right,
vacuums don't bother her. Storms don't bother her.
good.
Um, yeah, because when I first got her, I thought maybe she was deaf or going deaf, and the doctor said no. She just doesn't have any. She's so, she was so silly. Where I lived before, the windows were really low, and I had an ottoman like by the window, so she could
Uh-huh.
look. She would get up in that window, Gail, and when the light was on, she'd get up there looking like, not scared, like, oh, what's that? I had to close my. We had Venetian blinds and close the blinds and drape so she would be included. I mean, you can call things like go like that here. She was silly. She got right up there and said, "Oh, I'm gonna look at the storm, Mom." But yeah, the only thing that she had any fear of, that's because she grew up on a farm, was she was not afraid, but more like angry, kind of protective. She didn't like motorcycles and she didn't like joggers.
Oh,
She
okay.
didn't feel like
That's
people would
odd.
run.
Was she
Oh,
wanting to
Tanya,
chase them?
Tanya's on. Tanya's on.
Hey, Tanya, welcome. Hey, Valerie, welcome.
Valerie, too. Hi, Valerie.
Yeah. Thank you both for coming
Oh,
in.
Diamond Studios is on. Studios is on. I'm sorry. Diamond Studios is on.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
actually talking
no,
about how he does during storms. I'm looking for a little clip of him that I took during Hurricane Helene when we had the fire truck parked outside of our house.
okay.
So it's not coming up real quick on my search.
I think I seen that. Was that a parade? Was that the parade?
No, well, the
Oh,
parade didn't bother him either. I
yeah,
actually have a clip, and he is playing in the living room because we couldn't take him outside. But
right.
in front of our house was the fire truck, and its siren was just blasting. So
Oh,
we had the heavy storm that because it was still lots of rain and lots of noise, and we had the fire truck outside and no
mm-hmm,
lights on in the house, and
mm-hmm.
you you can actually see the reflections on the wall, and he just played right along.
Yeah. Well, you know what was weird with Candy? Remember I told you a couple of apartments down from me. So not the one next to me, but the one on the other side.
Okay.
There's a non-smoking building. He was smoking. I guess he's in the bed. He went downstairs. He claimed for 5 minutes, but the firefighters said that had to smolder for a couple of hours. He came back and his whole apartment was on fire. Well, the way our apartments are designed with concrete and the heavy metal doors, none of the smoke or nothing got to it. What really was bad was I didn't realize how much water the sprinklers put out. It flooded a 50-foot hallway, so it flooded about six of our apartments. So and it came pouring in, and when I saw it coming in, I just grabbed a couple of my really thick plush blankets and I helped him put that to help soak up the water. I mean, it still came in, but not as bad. But Candy went in, there it came in so fast. We had 4 inches of standing water. It was up to her chest. She didn't do nothing but walk slowly to the bedroom, shake the water off, and then of course get on my bed and get the bed.
Well,
She
I'm
was
sad because
Well,
walking,
you get scared of a big old wave came in and almost knocked and then the
storms can be really scary for dogs. Uh,
he's a firefighter. They were laughing because after they got the fire, they were slipping and sliding. They said it was like a couple of fell and they slipped all the way down the hallway. A couple of the other firefighters made videos of them sliding down. And they were slipping and sliding in my pocket because it was so. That water has I forget what they call it. It's a great kind of looking chemical, and that is supposed to promote so you don't have mold, but you still end up with it. But anyways, that stuff stinks, and so
does it?
but it's slippery too. But Candy wasn't scared that the firefighters were in there using giant scrunchie things to knock all the water. He wasn't
Hey,
so
Peter Parker. Okay, we've got a couple of people here. I
Oh,
want
yeah.
to.
Hi, Peter. Yes. Okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and start. We'll start talking about the
well,
challenges we have now.
one of the challenges is helping our dogs through storms because
Yeah, that was one of the yes, that was one.
somebody explained it to me that with storms or fireworks shows, you know, we're nice and calm and we know what's going on, but to our dogs, it's Armageddon because they don't know.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes it's helpful to take a dog into a room where if it's late at night and you've got a lot of lightning going, sometimes it's helpful to take him into a room that's got lots of lights and turn on all the lights in the room to try to balance that out. Have you heard that before?
Blind. What's the problem for us is there's another lady down the hall. She's got, I can't think of the name of the dog. It's a smaller dog too. But we put on some kind of loud music for them. And so that helps drown out the thunder. The lightning,
That makes sense
because
too.
the blinds are closed, they
Makes
don't
sense.
see.
Okay, let me say hi to a couple of people here.
Okay.
Sam with Diamond Studios, who has not been in here in a while. She is here. Hey, Sam. It is good to see you. It's Diamond Studios. And we have Tanya is in. We have Val in here.
And then
Peter Parker, I think I
Peter
saw
Parker,
Peter Parker. Tanya says she's talking to a friend who has been training service dogs and other protection dogs and things. She finally got her business outside of Texas, and she's going to train her next service dog, which is exciting. Parker says, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero, says, "Wow, late notification." Tanya, I'm glad you're here. And of course, you all go ahead and hit a like on the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And those of you who are not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. We'd be glad to have you. And Tanya says we have to use calming dog chews for her dogs while there's storms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Peter is saying good night. So good night, Peter. Thank you.
Bye, Peter.
Valerie is saying she had a bad storm a couple of hours ago. A tree came down on her neighbor's house. It messed up her roof a bit. Valerie, I hate that it came down. I hope that they're okay. Hope that you can get a great big tarp for it. It's really kind of scary and kind of tough when that happens.
Mm-hmm. That is.
And Tanya is saying, well, also we have to consider that dogs can hear a lot better than we are. So what sounds like a mild storm to us can sound like a hurricane to them. Very true. And I think Peter said he had no AC. Tanya says, oh no, AC. Geez, Peter, are you okay? And then he said good night. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, storms are kind of scary. And one of the things that, going back to Hurricane Helene, I got really ticked off at the Red Cross local shelter because somebody came in with their dog and they immediately sent him outside and told him to kennel the dog outside. So I was talking to him. I'm like, I'm sitting at home. I have no electricity. I have asthma and the whole deal. And I'm concerned I'm going to have to start up my breathing treatments. But I have a service dog. And I was politely told that only certified service dogs were allowed at the shelter.
What was this again now?
That was during Hurricane Helene with the Red Cross shelter.
What did they say about the service dog?
Only certified service dogs were allowed.
And so there was no certification. Did you tell them that?
Right. Yes, I did. And they argued with me. They said, oh, no, real service dogs are certified and they have an ID and they're wearing special vests. Because, see, I didn't have Pacer dressed. I was working him naked because
Right.
With the storm and everything, I just did not think about putting him in harness.
Yeah.
So
Well, see,
we
where
were
the
out.
problem is, there
What?
are programs, like I told you, in Cincinnati. We're one of the biggest regional areas that help blind people. It's called Ohio Association for the Blind.
Right.
Well, they do give the once you get your service dog, it's training. They do give you a special harness saying it's for as a seeing eye dog, but it also has a tag with the dog's picture, and it says that they are um, certified to handle. It's a certified to handle people with vision
Visual
problems. It
impairment.
doesn't say they're a certified service dog. They're certified to handle people with vision problems. And so they see them and they know, well, then everybody should have that. But no, there's not. And there's a
There is
up
no
in Northern
certification.
Ohio, there's a group for deaf people. Same thing. If the dog has a special bright colored vest and says, "My handler can't hear you, so you need to come in front of them or whatever to talk to them or whatever," because most of them can read lips. But yeah, so those are two issues that they do give them a quote certified to what they're doing, like a certified
Right.
dog that's
And they can,
trained to help people that are deaf or blind, but they're not a certified service dog. And that's where the confusion comes in.
I think
Yeah.
that Tanya is making the point. Let me pull this up. And she says, she makes a really good point. And that is this whole fake service, that this whole fake certification thing with other people, like makes it really bad for those of us who actually have a service dog.
Yeah.
That is
Here's
so
the
true.
problem. But
Because
here's the
that sets
problem.
up the expectation that everybody's going to have
Right.
a certified service dog with papers. And I just want to make clear that ADA says that they don't recognize any certification as valid. So if you're listening to this and you're trying to train your own service dog and you're considering getting a registered service dog, you don't have to waste your money. Spend it on something else. Get dog treats, go get gas, whatever, because the ADA doesn't recognize those as valid. So you're just tossing your money away.
The problem with that, Gail, at one time the government was trying to stop that, but a lot of these programs are in other countries. Now, it might say United States, but they're
Right. The companies that are selling fake, yeah,
yeah.
fake IDs.
And so they can't really get in there and shut them down. So all they ask is if people see a flight group, report it to Facebook, but Facebook don't do anything. Yeah, and that's sad too.
Yeah. Let me share this screen. Let me share this screen. It's got the ADA information because this is a problem no matter what size service dog that you have.
Right.
And this is coming straight from the ADA.gov website. And the URL, just in case you want to look it up and you can't see it, it is www.ada.gov/topics/service dash animals. Animals. So service dash animals. And it says service animals are dogs, with one exception, and that is miniature horses. But service animals are dogs, any breed or size of dogs. So we're talking today with, I have a little bit larger dog. She's got a Chihuahua. Tanya here is saying that her next dog may be a Great Dane. So all sizes. they have to be trained to perform a task directly related to the person's disability.
Right.
And then it says, and this is what we're talking about right now,
Right.
service animals are not. And then number one, required to be certified or go through a professional training program. They are not required to wear a vest or have other ID that indicates that they're a service dog. And they are not emotional support or comfort dogs, because providing emotional support or comfort is not a task related
Right.
to a person's disability. That's what dogs do. They love
Right.
you. So there you
Yeah.
go. And
Yeah.
that is straight from the ADA.gov website,
Right.
overseen by the Department of Justice.
Mhm.
So, all
Yeah.
right, so let me go back up here. I want to pull up about Tanya. Okay, she says, we are looking at a Great Dane because I need more ability to not have to lean over so much. My back is really bad right now, and they can hold a lot more weight.
Mhm.
And that's when she said the whole fake certification thing is causing problems. And says that my sister works in the service industry at 2 different hotels, and she tells people, yeah, he listened to this with their quote service dog is not acting right. My sister has a service dog, and that's not one. Good for her. Good for her. Now, in Tennessee, it's actually illegal to take an emotional support animal in any place that serves food, and hotels usually have a continental breakfast. So, yeah. And
And
she says,
there is a problem with the emotional support. And a lot of these psychiatric doctors have caused this problem. They are now allowing their patients to bring their emotional support animal to their doctor visit because they have psychiatric problems, and so the dog keeps them calm during the doctor visit. The
right,
problem is most of the psychiatric offices are either in a hospital or attached to a hospital. So therefore, then they have to go pass through all these other um, offices there where there's service dogs. And if I know the one lady, she they did want to schedule her on any day on not on Tuesday because my one doctor I have he's only there on Tuesdays because he has his own private practice, my pain management doctor. So we wouldn't have a run in with her because she goes to the same it's called group health associates office like attached to the hospital, but you're in close quarters, and so she brings that dog and she has it on her walker, but it's on a really loose leash and it lunges. It doesn't get off there, but Candy doesn't like it, and the Candy doesn't bark or growl or anything, but she will stare that dog down. And then she comes closer and I said, can you back up? And she comes closer. So they scheduled her on a different day because whatever her mental problems, she doesn't have any understanding of personal space. So that's the issue there. So
right,
and legally it's legal in any state, so you can't say, oh well, one state allows it. They make it's not a law, it's a policy, but it's to help people with mental issues get the doctor care they need. So, but the ones that push for it were the actual either psychologists or psychiatrists, either one. Are so yeah,
now,
that could be a big problem.
yeah, I just want to clarify for some folks that if the animal is trained to, just for example, stop an anxiety attack or help the person redirect, or just calm the person down with DPT, if a dog is trained to do that, then it is not an ESA, it becomes a service dog. Everything with service dogs is about the training.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing is, these doctors that got this, policy, okay, it is for people that don't qualify. They can't qualify their dog as a service dog because they don't do anything special other than sit there and the person pets them. They're
Yes,
not doing anything
that's
special.
different.
So
That's
that's what they are. And emotions. Now, technically, if you have an ESA, they do have to have some training, not task training, but they need to know, the basics, stay, come, and all that. But a lot of these people don't even know how to train
ideally.
them to do, basic good manners. So, yeah. But technically, they are supposed to have, that basic training like that.
It's
Yeah.
important to have some kind of training with your dog. The
Yeah.
other thing is, I think you can actually have more fun if you have a trained dog.
Yeah.
Also, Tanya is pointing out the problem with service dogs, we have to really watch their health because our depends on them, and people don't understand. They think that service dogs are fun. We have service, our owners have a lot more responsibilities than people think. I
Mm-hmm.
agree. And Tanya says,
Mm-hmm.
and then when dogs get hurt, like Archer, it changes our lives. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. And we could do a whole show sometime on the responsibilities of service dog owners
Yeah.
because when you first get your dog, oh boy, that's when it starts. You
Right.
have got to keep your dog up on vet visits. You have to have dental work done. You have to make sure the dog is clean, both inside and out. Make sure they have stimulation. These are working dogs, so they have to be stimulated. You've got to play with them. You've got to
Yeah.
buy toys, things like that. Where if you just have a pet and you turn the dog outside, you don't have to worry as much. You still should take care of the vet. And of course, you have to make sure they have all their shots. That's a legal requirement. But service dog handlers have extra things
Yeah.
that they have, like kennel cough protection and
Yeah.
such, that you don't have to worry about too much if you have a pet.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy toys because the dogs are outside, things like that.
Um, but what was I gonna say about there was
Okay.
something you said I was gonna clarify. That's yeah, I'll think of it later. Can
Okay,
we
and Tanya says that psychologically it took her a while to adjust to not having her service dog with her, and it causes panic attacks. Yeah, I can see where it would. I mean, because he's 8. You've been used to having him with you for a number of years, and then suddenly that gets taken away. And
Mhm.
with me, when I lost Tomlin, my first service dog, it just felt like the rug was pulled out from under me and the world just came to an end. Obviously, it
Mhm.
didn't come to an end, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
Or felt that way.
Right.
So I found the video. Let me see if I can share this and play it.
Okay.
This is of Pipsy playing in my living room during the thunderstorm. I'm sorry, during the hurricane. I don't know if it's so dark, but you can kind of see against that piece of foam. You can kind of see the reflections from the fire
Yeah.
truck. So, and I'm not playing the sound, but yeah. But one
Yeah.
of one of the things there too that service dog handlers have to take precautions on. During the Hurricane Helene, we had to take the service dog. We had to play with them inside. So I had this big piece of foam that you all saw, and that was protecting my couch, so he wouldn't scratch my couch. So you got to watch that. Do you have Candy climbing up on furniture? Tanya,
Well,
you're
she
here.
has to because she has to be able to get to my chair. So all my furniture is accessible. My bed, my couch, my ottoman, but okay, the chair I'm sitting in is genuine leather, but it's specially treated to not it's scratch resistant, not
Oh,
scratch
that's
proof,
good.
but yeah. And then I use a you know, what do you call it, the thing that the buff her nails, and I don't use a clipper, so I get them sanded down really smooth. So yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. Um,
That's
but
good.
yeah, but what I was gonna say, could we bring up the pictures? I wanted to share some of those tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay, you got the first one.
I
I kind
will
of
in
see
just
them
a
in the
second.
order that yeah.
I will in just a second.
Okay.
Tanya made a comment, and I am commenting back. She
Okay.
says that she had a hard time. Archer had to make the adjustment too,
Yeah.
and she got him a sibling to help take care of him. Give me just a second, and I'll pull it up. What she said, and that's not working. Okay, here we go. Pull that up. Like and going back to responsibility, she says like the first time she went Black Friday shopping with Archer, she says, "Oh my goodness, I'm never doing that again." So many people wanted to flock to him. One woman let her grandson ride him. He is not a horse. No, ma'am. He is not. Wow, that's crazy.
Well, Tanya, at least Archer was big. When I went one year with my daughter and my husband on Black Friday, I I had my scooter, but I didn't want her sitting the whole time on the floor of the scooter because she'd get stiff. So I would let her out, and I was telling Gail I would put her candy. I would be driving near a wall, and so there was just enough inches, like I said, about this much inches for her to squeeze between the wall and my scooter. And people, I had the big, heavy duty um, what do you call it, hands-free leash. And they saw, and they took
Okay.
the lady stepped over the hands-free leash. And I go, do you see that my dog is there? They go, oh, well, I didn't know that you need to move. What if your big old body's going to fall on my little, at that time, she was only about 5 or 6 pounds, and crush her, she'd be dead. I said, hello, why would you be that rude? That's not respecting anybody's space. And so the rest of the day, I kept her on my lap, and then I would reposition her so she wouldn't get too stiff because we were there for 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, that I was so scared that somebody was either gonna step on her or trip over my
Right.
feet and fall on her. And so
Well,
yeah,
even with Tomlin, back in college several years ago, a girl sat down at our table, and I had set us where it was not going to be, where he was going to be somewhat protected. And she came and she flopped her backpack down, and I reached down and grabbed it. It didn't hit him, but it could have. And she was like, "Oh, oh, oh." She knew I had a dog. She just didn't think to watch for him, but he could have been hurt, but he wasn't because it didn't hit him. But one of the challenges that we have as service dog owners, like what you just went through with Candy, is people just not watching. That's a huge challenge.
yeah. I think
So, all right, let me pull up your
John off the grid. Hi, John off the grid.
and we've been joined by Robert. Let me pull these up here. John off grid garage, and Robert is here. Robert Lawler. Also, Tanya says one of her favorite tasks, but still helps me, that Archer does, is he can sense my seizures before I have them by 30 minutes. And if I'm having a bad one, he can lay down on me and help.
Yeah.
She says it's one of her favorite tasks, and that's DPT, deep pressure therapy. Now, I actually have a problem with Pipsy on that. When it comes out at certain times, and it's just really kind of funny. He was out he was playing. We were again in the house for that. His ball went right underneath the couch. So I went down to get it, and in order to reach it, I had to lay down on my stomach and try to reach for the ball with my stick.
Right.
Well, he thought I was having a problem. So what does he do? He flops down on top of me. So I'm trying to get his ball and I'm trying to wiggle, telling him to go away. And instead of going away, he's laying down on top of me and moving around more because he's trying to hold me down more. And all I'm trying to do is get his ball because he was whining about it. And so John came, he came into the living room and he's like, "Oh, hey, Pipsy, mom's okay." And then
Yeah.
when he heard that, he hopped off of me and I let John get the ball.
Well, it's funny because I have to be careful how I laugh because sometimes I have like a little bit of a high pitch, and that's actually a cue of my high angle hernia. And she's come sometimes flying off the bed thinking I'm having a problem, and I have to tell her, "No, mommy's okay," because she wants to lay on my hernia, and besides, she's going to but
Yeah,
she can put some weight on my stomach, and I'm going, "No, no, I don't need no pressure on my stomach." And
yeah,
she won't.
that is not what you need. Yeah, no.
I got my friend. She makes herself heavy. She's 7 pounds, but she feels like 70 pounds when I'm trying to get her off my stomach. But yeah, I have to. Oh, she goes. Oh
I
no,
don't like
mom is
that.
okay. See, she heard that little bit high pitched laugh. Lay down, down, lay down. Remember
Okay,
what happened
so
earlier? Tell
here's some
what
photos.
happened to me earlier, Gail.
What
Tell them what happened earlier today.
what happened earlier today? Which
When
one?
you and I were talking,
While we were
remember
talking,
this afternoon when I
I don't,
fell, when I
what?
fell down.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
all. She fell down and fortunately did not break anything except her pride
yeah,
after falling
yeah,
down off the chair. But Candy, being her service dog, did what Candy does. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, it's a good thing she knows hand signals. I put my hand up to stop because she was going to come racing in here, and that means to stop. But she still was
yeah,
alert to see if anything changed. But yeah, yeah. My doctor calls that a slow fall. What I had to a slow motion fall. But
slow
yeah,
motion fall.
um, yeah. But there's some things that not all dogs would be having a problem. Like I said earlier, Candy did not understand motorcycles or joggers because she grew up on a farm. So she was among all kinds of animals, horses, cows, goats. She was even around those fainting goats. So that didn't even start when the
Oh
because
yeah,
they would be running, all of a sudden they would just flop over. That didn't bother none of that stuff. Um, but because there's no motorcycles out on the farm most of the time, and you don't see joggers jogging in the farm. So I had to desensitize for that. So luckily I got her in the I got her in the late winter. So come March it got warm. So I went with my scooter, and up the street we have a bunch of little shops, mom and pop stores and stuff because it's an older neighborhood. And anyways, we sat there. There's a lot of people that jog because there's doctors. There's like 6 hospitals, so there's doctors, nurses, and all them jogging. There's other people jogging. There's motorcycles of all kinds you can think of, and so um, not everybody, but I would wait and say, "Can you just say stop?" A lot of them did. So, if they're on a motorcycle, they fully pulled over and they did that. But where I lived in a big apartment complex, and the one gentleman that had a motorcycle, he was nice and let Candy sit on his motorcycle with him. Not, it wasn't on. And then eventually he would turn it on, but he wouldn't move. And then he got to where he would ride around in the parking lot with her. And
easy.
finally, he
Yeah.
went he went for a 20-minute ride. And when he got back, it was funny. It wasn't a mean growl, but she growled when he was handing her back to him because she did not want to get off the motorcycle. So she kept
How
it like
funny.
that. Same with joggers. So now she just ignores joggers. You can. So sometimes we have whole motorcycle groups, not gangs, but just clubs, and they ride through our neighborhood. And sometimes, oh yeah, there's how many colleges, and they do their running training. They have 30 or 40, 50 joggers, and the police are like escorting because they run down the whole street, and we might be out that day, and she just ignores it now. But
It
those
was
are just things I had to desensitize it. That a lot of people may not have to.
and it was nice of him to be willing to help you
Yeah,
desensitize
he
Candy.
was a nice gentleman.
Yeah,
But
because
it
service dogs have to be
did
sensitized.
look like a traditional, I hate to say a traditional, but he did look like a traditional hippie. He had the um, red head, the long hair, and then he had a braided beard that was about 4 inches long. But he was the sweetest guy. But yeah, so
Okay,
that was,
Tanya, I mean, Laura, we have a question. Robert Lawler says he has a service dog for autism, but he's having trouble with his service dog. Um, Robert, what kind of trouble are you having? We'll be glad to try to help with
yeah.
that. Neither one of us are trainers, but we have trained our own service dogs, and I have.
And I've had experience with friends that have autism and what they had to do. So
Yeah, I was going to say we both had some experience training, and I've
yeah.
helped other people as she has too.
Robert, is it the dog or you or both of you having problem with the autism part? Sometimes the handler's having trouble allowing the dog to help, and other times the dog is confused and not knowing when to help and when not to help. So, what is it the exact issue that you're having, Robert?
Okay, we'll give him just a minute to
Okay.
respond here. We'll give him just a minute. In the meantime, while he's doing that, I am going to put your picture up
Okay.
of Candy. Here we go. There's Candy, if you can see her.
Yeah, and like I
She,
said, blends in with the toys. This
yeah,
was
she's tucked in there.
this was a training exercise. She was about 5 then. You're constantly having to, train and stuff. And so this was
Right.
a focusing task so that she wouldn't look at all her favorite toys and that, and that she, like I was telling Gail, she knows where the camera is because if I hold my arm way out, she'll look at my phone, not me. And so she knows where it is. She loves it. She loves the camera. She likes to love the camera. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
she's
you
so
walk.
cute tucked in
Oh,
there.
just,
Okay, now Robert is saying when we went for a walk a long time, let me back up. When we went for a walk a long time ago, we came up to an agreement dog tangled up with, okay, so you came up on a dog tangled up in the leashes.
okay. What's an
So
agreement dog? I'm not sure what that is.
it's probably YouTube misinterpreting what he's
Oh,
saying.
okay. Oh, okay. I get that.
So
Maybe
went for a
because
walk a long time ago. We came up on a dog tangled up with the leashes. Those are when you come across a dog and the dog is coming after you, that's a really hard call to make. Now, if the dog is friendly, you can work on separating the dogs. But ultimately, your dog is your responsibility and their dog is their responsibility. And my first dog was attacked by another dog. And I was talking, actually, that happened twice. One dog was trying to get at him, and the other one did. And he was okay and everything. But later, I was talking to our veterinarian. I told her what had happened, and she said, and this horrifies me, okay? But she said sometimes you have to drop the leash and walk back. Few steps, take some few
But,
steps back, just to protect yourself, because the dog can fight off another dog easier than you can, is what she said. And that thought absolutely horrifies me.
yeah.
But I think in most states, if it's not federal, I think at least in most states, if there's a problem like that and your dog is on the leash and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with your dog, then the other owner can be responsible for taking care of your dog. Any injuries, loss of time because your service dog was hurt and couldn't work. Laurel, is that your understanding? I mean, we're
Yeah.
not attorneys,
Well,
but
well,
that's
Robert,
okay. And Robert says he meant to
the
say
dog was aggressive. Okay, now, Robert, what happened after this incident? Was your dog, did it become, scared of dogs or anything like that? You know, what was the result of this dog being aggressive? I'll give him a minute to answer.
to respond.
Yeah. But generally, if the dog is aggressive and does, even if the dog is not physically injured, if it's psychological, like Candy for a while
Well,
didn't like,
psychological I mean, it's an injury, I would think.
yeah. But here's what it is. If it's not physically hurt, but it's, psychologically, you still can, if the dog ends up being washed, then you can, I forget what they call that. You can
You can get
file,
damages, I
the
think, to
person
cover
would
your
have to
dog.
pay a fine for, causing your dog to be washed. So, but, like with Candy, with this, she got scared of those big bearded, dogs. What do you call them? Oh, I can't think of them.
Which
They're a
dog?
tributary. The one with the big head and they got the long beard.
That
I can,
can be quite a few dogs.
well, but it's a real famous one. But anyways, she became scared of any of those type of dogs, and I was able to desensitize her. But had I had to wash her, I could have uh, filed a charge with that person, and they would have had to financially reimburse me. Although that means I would have to get another dog. But yeah, did did your dog get bit? You think I thought the one fight.
Yeah.
Robert, did your dog get bit? Oh,
Okay, so
oh
I'm
okay.
just pulling up legalclarity.org, and let me see what it says. I'm going to share this screen. Okay. So, Robert, how is your dog? Let me ask that. I hate that this happened. I think this is every handler's nightmare. Now, with us, Tomlin was still able to work. We had to do a lot of work with the vet. But we were in Yukon when he was attacked and were not able to get the license plate number. And the guy took his dog and drove off at a very high rate of speed. We were more worried about looking at Tomlin. So we just didn't think to get the plate number. So, plus in Yukon, laws may be different. So it says, in establishing liability. I'm going to put this in. Give me a minute, and I'll put it in the chat box. But it says holding the other dog's owner responsible for the attack depends on proving legal fault. One basis for liability is negligent, which means the other owner failed to use reasonable care to control their dog, such as allowing it to run off leash. And he says some jurisdictions apply a, quote, strict liability standard. Under this principle, an owner is automatically liable for the damages their dog causes, regardless of whether the dog had a history of aggression or if the owner was careless. If the attacking dog previously has been designated as, quote, dangerous by animal control, proving liability is more straightforward. And then it says legal protections for service dogs. And it says the legal status of your service dog significantly impacts how a case is viewed. Under the ADA, it says that a service animal is not a pet. It is defined as medical equipment necessary for an individual with a disability. I'm just reading straight off of their website. And it says an attack on the service dog is an attack on the owner's independence and safety. And then under types of compensation, it says you can seek it for a wide range of damages that reflects the animal's special status. And then it says these are categorized as economic and, in some cases, non-economic. Economic damages include all veterinary bills for treatment and rehabilitation, as well as the cost of retraining the service dog if its ability to perform tasks is affected. Then it says if the dog is unable to return to service, you may be compensated for the cost of acquiring and training a replacement animal. You can also claim lost wages if you were unable to work while your service dog is out of commission. And it says some jurisdictions may also permit recovery for non-economic damages, such as the handler's emotional distress resulting from the traumatic event. So I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to put this in the chat.
Okay. In Ohio, we have a really strict law. The owner, if the owner allows, if the owner's dog attacks a service dog, regardless whether they allowed it or couldn't handle their dog, damages include, there's this one. These are just some of them. There's more that you could, but some of what you said, veterinary bills, emotional distress, potential pain and suffering, and then replacement of the animal. Also, if the owner themselves was caught in it, like even if you just got a scratch, that can mentally cause you problems. Even if the physical damage wasn't bad, but it caused you to be having PTSD, they can have to pay for the psychological for both you and the animal. Ohio is one of the more strict states. What state do you live in, Robert? What city? Do you know what city he lives in? Yeah.
No, we'll give him just a minute.
Okay, yeah. Because depending on the state, but like I said, Ohio is one of the strictest states there is.
Okay, he said that the dog, this is going back in the chat. He says that the dog didn't want to eat his food that night, and we were worried that he might have gotten injured. And you're right to be concerned about that, because in some dogs, that can be a sign that they did get injured, but it can also be a sign that the dog is just upset and doesn't want to eat. And we're all very happy that he's okay.
Yeah.
Because he asked, and looks like he said that the dog is okay. And he says, took the boat away before gained house strength. Okay, gotcha. Robert's in Ontario. So the laws are going to be different in Canada.
Yes. Yeah.
Those were U.S. laws that I had pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find anything easily. So what I just gave you about contacting the Department of Justice won't apply to you. For some reason, I was thinking that you were in the U.S., so I apologize for that. Let me just look. Let's see. Okay, I did find really quickly the Ontario Service Dogs Act of 2016. Condition that axe dogs crown, permitted in public places, permitted in self-contained dwelling unit, other facilities, false rep, same, identification cards, proof, surrender of cards, regulations, penalty. Okay, what I'm looking at here does not mention injury. I'm just pulling it up right quick.
Well, I just found something on Canada.
Did you find something?
2025. It does say that they are legally protected in most public spaces in transportation. But I guess depending on what happens to your dog, whether how much you can get compensated, whether it's emotional or uh, physical or whatever. You have to, but yeah, there are laws that help protect you, but you have to do more investigation on that. I don't know who you would talk to, Robert. I'm sorry, I don't really know a whole lot about cannabis, but they do protect your animal if it gets attacked by another dog. Yeah, regardless whether the person meant it or didn't mean it. If they accidentally let it, it's still being
Still a
irresponsible.
problem.
So, yeah.
I am putting in a couple of links that I hope will help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the law around service animals in Ontario, and it's by ACMO. And give me a second to type this in.
Oh, Robert was injured too, Gail.
So hopefully that'll help. What?
Robert was injured also.
Robert, wow.
Mm-hmm.
No words. I have no words for that, except to say that I hope you're okay. Peter, you have a good night too. Peter says, have a good night. He's got to go. So I appreciate you for coming in. But I don't know what the laws are. Yeah. I know a lot of laws in Canada are similar. So I would hope there would be some way that you could get some help. Here, we would have huge medical bills from that if you had to go to the doctor. So I know Canada, fortunately for you all, is different, but there's still, I don't know. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to say. My heart is just breaking for you because I can't imagine.
I have a couple of friends that live.
I was, but I had a couple of bruises on my left arm and left knee.
Wow.
Glad you were okay, but still, wow. And just the trauma of it all had to be incredible. So I know that when Tomlin was my first service dog, he was amazing. Passed away at 13, and he was just amazing. With him, he became reactive for a while to other huskies, and we had to watch that. I was okay, and my husband was okay, but we had to do a lot of training and a lot of desensitization work with him, which was when we got to where he saw a husky, before he ever had a chance to stiffen up and act nervous, then I just turned him around. We did an about. We walked away. We bounced the ball. We told him, good job. Good, get the ball. Be very specific about what you want him to do and congratulating him for doing it. If you have him pick something up off the floor, say, great job with give or whatever term you use. And then we would go back into the dog park. Now, I never took him off leash. Never, never. Not until he
Right.
really resolved that, if there was a husky around. And then we would go back into the dog park and
Yeah.
then get a little closer and then back away. And we had to do that a lot because he was reacting to that breed, because dogs recognize people, different people, and they recognize breeds. I mean, the dogs that we have are smarter than average, right? And so we have to be aware that they recognize
All
things.
right.
And thank you, Robert. He passed away in 2020, so I've come to terms with it. But it was really hard. Um,
Yeah.
he was he was my first service dog. I looked for him for 2 years. Worked with a couple of amazing trainers. It was a husband and wife team, and she, a little bit more than him, took a real shine to Tomlin and a real shine to us, and he and I, and was a huge help. And I could call her anytime, night or day, until we got that dog trained.
Yeah.
So it was, losing a service dog is harder than losing a pet, and we can do
Yeah.
something on
Yeah.
that too sometime. But just amazing.
Yeah.
And let's see. Oh, and so Tanya is saying that Archer got hurt because a child threw a tantrum because he couldn't pet Archer, and he had cleats on. He put the cleats through the tendon in his paw. Oh, I'd been going to jail over that one. I'm sorry. I am so protective. I guess you could say I'm reactive when somebody goes for my dog. I've actually got a video of me yelling at somebody at Walmart because their dog was hit. They had two, and the dogs were snarling and kind of growling. And I thought they were going to come out of the car at Pixie, and he was just, oh, I mean, he was okay. John took him, and we went off to the side, and I put him on a down stay and congratulated him for being on a down stay and told him good boy for that and things like that. But I was so mad at the owners. So I actually talked to one of the Walmart employees, and I'm like, hey, if they come up to me again, can I call security? And they were like, oh yeah. So they were willing to help. So yeah. And Tanya says, and Robert has experience, and Gail's and even Laurel's experiences with these issues vary, but it comes down to safety and quality of life. Absolutely. For the dog and for ourselves.
Yeah.
And she says Archer got reactive to some children, but my niece brought hers over and we work with them, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
Dogs have emotions like fear. Yes, they do.
Yeah,
They do.
Candy had a pot. I looked up the dog. It was the standard schnauzer. You know, they got the big old beard.
Yes.
Now the thing about those dogs, they are quiet. They're like even pit bulls. They're quiet before they attack. So you don't think. So that's why people say, "Oh, they attacked out of nowhere." No, they're giving you signs either with their tail or the way their stance is. And this dog was known to be a problem in our building, and this lady was not controlling it, and it jumped on Candy. Now it didn't bite her, but it pinned her down, and it didn't growl. But that's enough right there. So that would be things if I just took you and held you against the wall, but I didn't say anything or do anything to you other than that. That's enough just to cause trauma. So it took over a year and a half for Candy to get over that fear. And luckily, one of the ladies that did gardening for the building, she lived there too. She happened to have a standard schnauzer, and him and Candy were the exact same color. and that became Candy's boyfriend. And now he went off leash, but that dog was so trained, he could be running full gas because he liked to chase birds, and she could just whistle, and he would stop dead still and run towards her. And he was always protecting her. The other dogs didn't come around him when Candy, because he wouldn't let nobody bother Candy. But it took another schnauzer to help her,
Up around.
decompress from having that. But I mean, a year and a half for a service dog, that's a long time. And it's slow. I mean, it wasn't intense the whole time, but it gradually got better. But still, that's a long time to have to
Yeah,
desensitize her to that. But yeah, and
absolutely.
that dog was and then there was another time where twice the same dog, and this is the program I told you, that the Association for the Blind. The
Right.
trainer was with the blind person and this dog being trained. Okay, so it was really on the last stages of being trained, and it jumped up on the scooter and me. Now it didn't do anything to Candy, but get right in her face, and she knew not to growl or bark. Instead, she got next to me and hit in my armpit, and I put my hand down, and of course, the blind person didn't know exactly what was going on, but that trainer was reckless. And then, like 3 weeks later, this stupid trainer let the dog do it again, knowing that, and I even before they came into it was CVS, and that entrance is narrow, and I was already going through the door, uh,
Right.
coming out, and he was coming in, and I'm going, can you back up and let me out? Your dog, last, and he just ignored me, came on in, and again, it happened. So I politely said, if this happens again, then I'm going to report you to the Association for the
Authority.
Blind for being irresponsible and training this service dog. And then
Sure.
he didn't do that anymore. But
Well, I'm
why?
glad he didn't do that again. Hey, by the way, Stellar Piper's in here.
Hi,
So,
Stella.
Stellar Piper, we haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought
This is,
she ran away.
so, this is my daughter, just to prove that she really is still speaking to me and she still exists. So, thank you for coming in, Stellar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so Robert was asking if insurance would cover it, and I told him that depends on the
yeah,
company and the coverage in the policy,
yeah.
because some will and some won't. When I was looking for insurance for my current dog, Pipsy, I got on the phone, I called insurance companies, various pet insurance companies, and it was some would cover not just the dog, but some psychological. And also, when I say cover the dog, that was potential surgeries and potential physical therapy, which we don't think about for dogs, but it does
Mhm.
happen. And some of them would cover that, and some of them wouldn't, all up to the limits of the policy. So what I found that I worked out the best for us is a $5,000 policy. I've got a $500 deductible. So at max, they've got to pay 4,500. I'm sorry, $7,000 policy with a $700 deductible. So at max, they're paying out 6,300. But even with that, there's a lot that I thought would be covered in general about the dog that was not. So you really look at your fine print if you go to get pet insurance. But it can, when you need it, it can be a godsend. I understand. So
Mhm.
yeah, uh,
Yeah.
we've got really good luck though. We have pet insurance, and I have them covered under the Banfield Wellness Plan. So I'm kind of paying double each month. But Banfield for us has been fabulous. Now, it's not insurance, it is a wellness plan. But with that, anytime I'm concerned about Pipsy, we can go to the vet, and I don't have an office visit fee to pay. So I can take them a little quicker. And when they have to do things, I get a discount on it. So, like, if they have to test swab his ears and things like that, I get a discount. And then once a year, he gets his dental cleaning. And the policy also covers, not policy, the wellness plan also covers x-rays. So if I need to have something checked out for an x-ray, we have that available without having to pay any more for it. And it covers, I don't remember, I think it covers his heart injection, heartworm injection. I'd have to go back and look, but it also covers his monthly flea and tick treatment, Simpiericus. So, that's been helpful, but it doesn't specifically help like in your situation or getting attacked, things like that. But yeah. Let me go back in. Tanya talks about how she's going to pay for her new dog, and the dog will be traveling with a trainer between Texas and Missouri. And she says you go through things like that, and then they don't realize, the general public, that your life is in your dog's paw. True. And then Robert says, Russell Brown, I think my service dog will do with me and the dog. Okay. And she says, I think I'm going to do, she being Tanya, says, I think I'm going to do what you did next time and go and invest in pet insurance. Yeah, it can be helpful. Stellar is saying that a friend of hers has a dog whose goal in life is to eat everything he isn't supposed to do, and she's worried that her insurance will stop covering him. Is that a thing that can happen? As long as the dogs, from my understanding, for as long as the dog is covered and that coverage doesn't lapse, then they're going to honor what the policy says it will cover. I also found out that can change a little bit just as he gets older. So tell her to check the policy and keep an eye on it at every renewal. But the thing is, the really, really big thing is, once you choose your pet insurance, you're pretty much locked in for the duration, because none of the pet insurance companies will cover anything that's pre-existing. So, a hurt paw or stomach problems, things like that, they're not going to cover, most likely. That's what I was told when calling around the different companies that I called, emailed, and I really looked.
Yeah, it's pretty much like people. It's like people, if they change health insurance, they're not going to honor pre-existing. It's just like the human. I checked all that too. Most insurance will not do that. Yeah.
Okay, Robert is saying, what's the difference between Sun Life and a dog? Help me out with that.
What's that?
Robert says, what's the difference between Sun Life and dog? And I just said, help me out with that so I could understand more.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stellar says her dog is a Dachshund mix, and he's a fast little dude, and today swallowed an entire plum before she could take it away, pit and all. Oh my gosh. Did she call the vet? Sometimes you have to induce vomiting. Did she call the vet and check on that?
I don't know. Small dogs like that.
Yeah, Tanya's saying that little dogs can grab something and get away before you know it. Has Candy ever done that?
No.
That's good.
They did a good job training her on the farm, because again, she was around so many animals. They didn't want her eating feed corn from the animals or other stuff, so all that was off limits for her.
Okay. Well, that's good that she had some really good training behind her. Even
Yeah.
with the best training, though, I mean, dogs can get into things.
Yeah.
I'm glad she doesn't. And Tanya says that Archer uses his service dog skills on Tilly, that's a Chihuahua. If he thinks she's in trouble, he'll bring her to Tanya. There you go. Taylor,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
Tom. That's funny. I didn't mean to laugh so hard, but
even
that's
dogs tell on their siblings.
that's
Love
tickled
it.
me.
And Stellar says her friend also had to put a fence over her strawberry patch so you wouldn't eat them all. Oh, and Tanya summed it up. She says, "Oh dear, she's got a troublemaker." But Stellar says that the dog went to the emergency vet.
Okay.
So we'll wait and see what she
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask Robert to retype his question.
Yeah. Well, what I say, Tanya, is I say service dogs are not robots. They're living creatures because they think, that they're robotic and won't make any mistakes. She's saying that, um, that I forget what there's. I gotta go back down to her question.
Okay, yeah, Tanya is saying that um, service dogs are smart as a 3-year-old, so they're very intelligent. They're still not miracle world workers.
Right, metaphors, right. But
Yeah.
what I was saying was that they're not robots. They're not mechanical. They're not gonna just do it because they're a machine. They're a living, breathing being that needs, uh, emotional and physical care too, not just physical but emotional. And so that all ties in. That that's what makes a search dog good to us. That they know how to connect with you and know what you really need. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to be
Stellar,
when you don't need it.
Stellar is saying she hasn't said anything how it went, but if it hadn't gone well, she'd know. Okay. And Tanya says potty pads, she means. Gotcha. And so I put in even 3-year-olds get in trouble often, except my grandbaby. She could
Oh,
never get in trouble.
that's favoritism, Gail.
Oh, is that what that's called? Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the polite way of saying it. But I have
I
a great
am.
grandson. I kind of top you off because I have a great grandson. So
Okay.
he's great.
So
That's
you
why
have
he's
a
a great.
great grandson.
Yeah. What's nice about having great grandkids is they're great with you when they're with you, and then you can send them home to make trouble. Yeah.
I can get that. I can get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
somewhere I've got a picture of my granddaughter in the crate with Pipsy because she climbed in. She decided that he was tired because he went and got in his crate all by himself. And she decided that he was tired and she needed to sing to him at the top of her lungs. So she was singing the ABC song back at the top of her lungs and was so proud of herself for doing that. I've got to show you this picture. Got to show you this picture. Okay. Y'all are going to love this. Okay. There she is, climbed into the crate with Pipsy, and she has just sung her heart out. And she looks so proud of herself. So, yeah. So that's a little comic relief for you. Yeah. Stellar says, unless she tries to go swimming in the horse trough. Yeah, there is that. Our granddaughter likes water quite a bit. And Tanya is saying that her 3-year-old is 113 pounds and he loves to get in trouble now. She says he works inside the home, but he likes to try to see if he can relax his behavior and push his limit, and says that Tilly has brain damage. Now, we are talking about our dogs here. Tilly has brain damage, and that's why we didn't understand why Mama Dog kept pushing her away. Dogs are smart in their own way, and except for her poor little girl. But she's got Big Brother Archer
Yeah.
to watch out for her.
Yeah.
She has grown fast. That was back in 24. So you should see her now. I mean, she's just a pistol. I don't want to show her much on social media, but a little bit here and there. But
Yeah.
heavens, yes, she
Well,
is.
Candy has a boyfriend that lives down the hall.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of those. They're mostly white, and they got that long fur. I'll have to ask her again. He's one of those really expensive breeds, but he's trained really well, and he's called Candy. But
Good.
but when I'm on my scooter and he sees us coming towards the apartment, he literally squishes his body. He's twice as wide as Candy. He doesn't mean to her. He's not mean, but he pushes his way onto the scooter, and then of course they both can't fit, so she gets pushed off. She doesn't get mad, but she looks at him like, "That's my mom." And she gets kind of jealous because I mean, they don't argue, and that's funny because once in a while when nobody's around, we let them off leash in the hallway, and they love to play. And it's funny because if my door's cracked open while we're letting them play, he'll push his way and go into my apartment and investigate to see if there's anything to eat. And Candy will do the same thing. The one day she got up in my friend's bed and just made herself at home, and I'm like, okay. So they just barge into each other's home and do that, yeah. But like I said, anytime we're in the hallway, we have to stop and let them. They have to kiss, otherwise, and it is. He puts his snout right on the end of her snout. I mean, he gives her a little lick
right on her snout.
And the thing is, if she tries to pull him back, if she's on leash, he will not go. If he's going back to the apartment, he won't go in. If they're going out, he won't go to the elevator until he gives her a kiss. And likewise, Candy wants that kiss, and so they have to smooch before they say goodbye.
How funny!
But yeah, his name is Red. That's her boyfriend. She has another one, but he lives on a different floor, and um, you know, um, you probably remember Spanky and our gang, the dog that they had. This is what this dog is. That her boyfriend that lives on another floor, and so she has a couple of boyfriends. And then there's a third one. So once in a while, all three of them are outside when we go out, and then she doesn't know which one she wants to visit first. But yeah, she got a whole slew of boyfriends. There's a couple of female dogs that she likes too, but yeah, she really has some sweet interactions with the boys. Yeah,
that's sweet. But
yeah,
that's something we also have to watch out for. We have to watch those interactions pretty carefully until the dogs really get to know each other.
Oh well, yeah. They see each other in the hallway all the time, so we finally let them sniff. And I know the lady really well. She had another dog similar to what she's got now, and she's excellent on training them. And she doesn't let interactions like that until she's pretty sure that she can trust them. But yeah, and the funny thing is, the Red used to belong to somebody a couple floors down, but the woman didn't have the wherewith to know how to train the dog, and the dog was biting her. We don't know for what reason. It could maybe it could be the way she was acting. Could be she had some kind of a medical problem, either a scent or a nervous thing. But anyway, he not break skin. He never broke skin, but he would nip at her. And the funny thing, she said, can you take Red and take care of it? You can have him. I just want to see him once in a while. But then she got to where she didn't even want to see him anymore.
Right.
So I don't think they really made a good connection. But like I said, the dog has never bit her or anybody or any other dog. I don't know what was with this woman that Red since, but oh yeah, there is. I take it. There's a dog that lives down. A lady lives down the hall. She's got a service. She claims it's a service dog. It's a pit bull, and I'm sorry, but that dog is not trained. The woman is supposed to be the dog owner. She can't handle that dog, and her son stays with her part time. He comes and goes. I don't think he's living with her, but he's there a lot, and he's the only one that can control that dog. So if you're the dog handler, why are you letting your son do that? And then when I asked her that when she first moved in, because I was kind of worried about that,
Right.
I said, "What
Well,
is this dog trained for?" She says, "Oh, everything." I said, "Well, that's not possible. He's not a seeing eye dog, a deaf.
right.
I mean, he can't do all things. I mean, there's no even the best service dog is not going to do 100 and different tasks like that. So she's just making up crap. Is really. But the
Now,
woman,
people, let me say a couple of things here, right quick. Any breed, just going to remind you that in the U.S., any breed can be a service dog.
right?
I have seen pit bulls in action that were well trained, that were doing a really good job for their handler. One we actually went to dinner with about a couple of years ago and let our dogs introduce themselves to each other first. And then
Yeah.
we went to dinner, and both dogs were just perfect.
Well, if
The
you,
other one I saw as a search and rescue dog doing a
yeah.
great job. But like every dog out there, training, training,
Can
training.
can you bring up that picture where there's a big group of us at Cheesecake Factory? Because
Yeah. Whoops.
there's
Let me
three
see.
pit bulls in there. Well, there's two pit bulls and a pit bull mix.
Whoops.
You have to go back. I think you're at the newer. Okay, now keep scrolling down. Yeah, keep.
Whoop.
Uh,
There's one.
no,
Wrong.
wait, hold on.
Here we
Those
go.
are the first pictures I gave you. Those are
Um,
newer ones I think I
um,
gave you.
okay. Let me try to pull it up here. It's not letting me just scroll through really easily.
Well, you gotta go back to those first pictures I sent you. Like the other ones I sent you a whole bunch for next week. Let me
Okay.
see. So
I'm
yeah,
trying
you
to
gotta
get
go
there.
to
Okay. Let me try this one and see.
uh,
Um, Here we go. And you just tell me when to stop. I
okay.
finally got it where it would scroll through a carousel.
Yeah. There it is, that's it.
Whoops.
You went past it.
Okay,
That's
there
it.
we go.
Can you make it bigger?
I'm trying to.
All right.
Let me see if I can do one more thing here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, there we
Now
go.
now the one woman right there in the front. Oh, it's
Oh,
so
wait a minute. I got another notification there and it's messed me up. Okay.
yeah.
Let me see if it'll let me go starting here.
I think you.
Go on over this one.
Yes, that's it. Okay,
Okay.
now you can make it a little bit bigger.
Still
Okay.
okay.
All right, now to see the lady in the pink pants, her
Yes.
dog is a pit bull mix, and she is animal behaviorist, not an animal trainer. Then the lady next to her has a full pit bull in its brindle color. It's got that striped kind of color. That's a pit
Okay, I
bull
see him
next
off
to
to the
her.
side.
So that's 2 pit bulls there. And actually, if you see me with Candy, the man
Okay.
next to me,
Now Laurel's in the red
that's a
shirt.
pit bull mix. The guy next to me has a pit bull mix, and then the lady in the wheelchair has a pit bull. So there's actually 4 pit bulls, 2 are pit bull mixed. Um, and then there's the husky, and I forget what the other dog is. And then we have a standard poodle. But Candy and them all got along well. And if you know how the CD and Cheesecake Factory, all those tables are all close together, and he gave
Squished
the
in there.
manager gave us the whole row of seats, but again, with those big dogs, they were close to one another, and food was
Doing
falling from
great.
the table. But they all laid there quiet. He was amazed how we sat there for 2.5 hours, and none of the dogs acted up. And then before I left,
Hold on. I think Robert is leaving us. Hold on.
oh, okay.
Um,
All right, Robert. I hope you can come in next week. We're going to do more on service dogs. So maybe I'll have time to investigate what you can do for your situation.
yeah, he says good night. He has to go now.
Okay.
So
Well,
Robert, thank you for coming in. I hope we were somewhat helpful. I don't,
and like
I
I said,
don't know.
I'll do some more research on that, see if I can do some help. Right? He's in Ontario, right?
Antonia
I
says,
got
yeah,
a
she's
friend
going
that
to go
lives in
soon too.
Ontario. I've got a friend that lives in Ontario, so maybe she might be able to help. But yeah, so and the manager was so impressed how 10 dogs laying next to each other in Cheesecake Factory for 2.5 hours, and none of them acted up. So he at the end, he said, I'm sorry, I can't let you leave. And we're going, what? He said, can I please pet your dogs? And we said, I want to pet them. So each person left, and he got down on the floor and pet them, and hugged them, and they all were licking him. None of them, but yeah, I'm not saying pit bulls are bad, but if you're not trained right, they can be a problem.
Yeah.
And it's not the pit bull's fault. They're just acting on instinct, and you have to learn how to buffer their instinct. But this dog is not under control. Only the son can. And if the mom is the one that needs the service dog, she has to control it. And here's the ironic thing. Guess what her name is?
What?
The lady's name is Candy. I don't remember what the dog's name is, but the woman's name is Candy. But like I was talking about Red, he's been here for like 6 or 7 years. He's gotten along with all kinds of dogs, even dogs that were a little bit aggressive. He's ignored. But when about the second week that she was here, um, she was heading towards the elevator. My friend was, and that the one that has the pit bull lives down the other hall. But Red's nostrils started to kind of flare, and so she went to see what he was. She just went like towards the edge. She wasn't going to go down the hall, and it was that poor pit bull. Now this Red there's 183 residents, and plus there's how many staff here. Nobody has ever heard Red bark, and then we have nurse aides coming in. We have visiting doctors, visit people. Nobody has ever heard Red bark. He barked so loud, it startled my friend Alan. And he's never, so she does not like that dog. So he must sense something. And it could be just because the dog is unruly. And if the dogs are left to discipline each other, that a group of dogs would put that dog in, and let it know its place. But yeah, this one is not having a service dog. Like I said, she never takes it out except to go to the bathroom, and the son takes him they just basically take them for a potty walk, and then he takes them for a walk. Like yeah, that is not no service dog. But again, they can't ask. Now I guess when she signed up, somebody helped her do the paperwork, so they stated what the dog was
she just says, "Oh, the dog's paid for everything." So, like I said, I just think she wanted to not have to pay the deposit because it is
And
a
that
250
happens. That's one of the
$250 cost.
obstacles we all face when
And
we
then,
have a service dog.
well, and
Is
then the
to
son,
do that kind
the
of
son,
stuff.
yeah, the son slipped up one day. He told me, he said, "Oh, whatever the dog's name is, it's funny." Anyways, she's been trained for years, and I said, "Well, she doesn't act like it. The dog doesn't." And then one day when he wasn't thinking, I said, "How old is what's her name?" She's 19 months. How can it be years that she's been working as a service dog
She's
and
only
she's not
19
even 2 years
months.
old?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And he kept saying, "Oh, she loves other dogs." But when I talk to other people in the building, they don't let their dog go around this dog because it does. It lunges at them. Now, I don't know if it's wanting just to play, but who wants to take that risk, whether it's playing or what?
Right.
Even
And the
then,
thing
if
is,
you're
you don't
going
know.
fighting, you can't have a dog acting like that. So, oh, good night, Tanya. But anyways,
Good night, Tanya.
uh, like I said, it's not the pit bull; it's that the woman
It's the
is
owner.
pretending to have a service dog, and it's making our environment kind of uncomfortable. We always, yeah,
It's difficult. It is
yeah.
difficult. And these are some of the challenges that service dog handlers face.
Well, and even
Face
managers
they
can't
say
get anything.
yeah,
But
they face some discrimination because of the type of dog they have. We face problems if when those dogs aren't well trained, whether they're pits or whatever breeds.
mhm,
So there's some challenges out there.
yeah, well, and it's not just the breed, but this, like I said, this dog is not. This dog doesn't know how to sit when he's taught to sit. It'll sit for a second and then it's right back up. And like I said,
Manners are so important.
I've seen the dog pull with the son too, and he handles the dog pretty good, but sometimes that dog pulls in, and yeah, I like I said, I don't. But he kept saying the dog's friendly, but yet the dog doesn't interact with other dogs. So if it's so friendly, why are you not letting them act? It's a girl. Why are you not letting her interact with the other dogs if it's so friendly?
Right.
Yeah, so
That's generally a tip off that they're not as
yeah,
friendly as
like I said, I think she just doesn't want to have to pay that fee. And like I said, the managers when they signed her up, whoever was with her, I think it was a family member, not her son, and they stated whatever so-called thing this dog was supposed to be a service dog for whatever the task was. So they just had, they had to just take it at face value, like you said. Otherwise, it's discrimination. Yeah, because you can't ask for a letter. The only one
right.
that has to provide a letter in HUD housing is an emotional support animal, and
And
it's
that
not
only
about the
works for him.
animal. It's about you have to have a mental illness. You can't just have a mental condition. I mean, a mental
Has
condition.
to cross the line to
A
be
mental
disability,
condition,
right?
you're just nervous. A mental condition is you're uh, you have panic attacks. So there's one thing just being nervous, and another kind of thing of actually having, you know, anxiety or panic attack. So you have to have a letter. And here's the thing: is they don't have the doctor does not have to say Laurel Stewart has a ment, I mean, anxiety or GAD or whatever. They just have to say she needs a psychiatric emotional support animal. So
Well,
a lot
and
of the
if you
doctors
have,
state that they can't say, well, why does she need it? Is she
he just has to say it.
agoraphobia? Is she, they don't have to disclose any of my mental problems. So I mean, I could be leading the dog just because I'm afraid to be in public, because I have a couple friends that are agoraphobic, and they won't go out the house unless their dog is with them. And actually, they got their dog um, approved to be a service dog. Years ago, there used to be a problem with um, when people would say that they had agoraphobia, but your doctor has to have the clinical diagnosis of it. So you have to have a clinical mental uh, health problem, and so that's the only documentation. Not not that whether the dog is trained. I mean, they want to have good manners, but they don't have to have any drugs for training because they're just there for emotional support. Now, until I had Candy totally trained, I had her as my emotional support animal. So my doctor uh, handled that until I got her, fully trained, and then we switched it. Candy is no longer an ESA, fully trained
Oh,
service
right.
dog. So at that time, I didn't. But when you're living in public housing, um, not only service dogs can go with you in any of the public areas, including outside, but emotional support animals can. Now they can't go off the property, like they can't go to Walmart, but they can go anywhere. Like say you live in like we live in a high rise and we got a big old pet. They can go out and sit on the patio with them. They can walk around in the parking lot with them. They can do it. We have sidewalks where a lot of people do like walking exercise, but if we had a swimming pool, they could bring them down to the pool. So they basically go anywhere a service dog can go on the property where they live. Now, if they're going to go visit
Okay.
a friend, even if they live in Section 8 or HUD housing, HUD will not cover it at another building. So if I have a friend that lives in a HUD building, if I had an emotional support animal, they wouldn't allow the dog to be in all the areas. I could bring it, but I'd have to carry
Right.
it into my friend's apartment. Yeah. So
I want to share a link too about that, about taking dogs places, emotional support animals.
right.
Um, in Tennessee, it is illegal to take an emotional support animal in restaurants or any place that food is served. I want to share this right
Yeah.
quick.
Well, Ohio is too. They don't allow them. Like I said, the only thing that is now a policy, it's not a law, is if you have a mental illness, you can take them to your psychiatric appointment. And like I said, that's kind of
I'm going to
difficult
say it loud.
sometimes when it's in a big doctor office because you might have to go past a bunch of people that have service animals, so
Well,
yeah, that sort of thing.
in Tennessee, let me just read this article. This is WKRN. And as long as your doctor says bring them, or if he says it's okay, then you can do so. As far as going to the doctor itself, but if you're going into a restaurant or a
Right,
grocery store or any place
right,
that sells food in Tennessee, specific to
right.
Tennessee, um, they're banned, and it says bringing your emotional support animal into a restaurant in Tennessee will now be illegal. That's already gone into effect. This was actually in 2024 that the article was written. And it says a new law bans emotional support animals from going inside restaurants or grocery stores unless they are trained or being trained to
Yeah,
perform tasks or work with a person with a disability. And that's when they become service animals. And it
right.
says Governor Bill Lee signed the new law on Friday, March 15th. That was 2024. And there's some controversy about it, with some saying it's lame, some saying it's ridiculous. But I will say, as a service dog handler, I have had a lot less problems taking my dog places
Yeah,
in Tennessee than I did before.
yeah. Well, here's
And
the
I've
thing:
got
Ohio,
there too.
Ohio is really strict on
Pretty
it.
good.
So not only you can't take them in public restaurants and all that kind of stuff, historic stuff, they don't allow emotional support animals um, uh, in what is it? In public parks where they have a lot of events. So like if they have different shows going on and that kind of stuff, they're not allowed to be in the park. They can go to other parks that don't have, that's just a little neighborhood park or something of that nature. But if you, like we got a couple of big huge parks that have a lot of different venues from bands to art, big art shows to where um, all I can say is it's once a year we have a drunken melee from the uh, people that sponsor the cost of this big rich. It's in a rich neighborhood, and my kids, when they were teenagers, they worked at that event, and they said most people got so sloppy drunk. I mean, these women would wear these gorgeous gowns and all this fancy jewelry, and the men would be, dressed in all these fancy suits, and then they would get so slapped and drunk. And they have a bunch of porta potties, and my son had to help this woman. She um, couldn't get out of the porta potty, and so he got his manager to unlock it. And so my son was up, but she wasn't fat, but she was tall and heavy. At that time, he only weighed 90 pounds. And she tipped over in the porta potty and ruined that.
Oh,
He said, Mom, she was wearing blue all over, even though her gown was red.
wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I to know who had to take her home. She was so drunk, but those are the what do you call it? The people that not sponsored, but they're the whitey types that pay for that part. But so
Yeah.
like I said, when they have all these different events, they don't allow ESA to come to those parks ever, even if there's not an event that particular week, because somebody else might rent that on at the last minute. So they can go to
Well,
regular parks, but not where they have different venues like that. So Ohio's really strict on that ESA stuff because, like I said, people do come to those events with service dogs and they don't want
right.
all that flack. Now, what is it? Once a year, and I can't remember. I think it's a baseball game. Yeah, at our Red Stadium, they do have an event where bring your dog to the park. You're at the baseball park, but you have to have a signed document from your vet that your dog is not aggressive and that they're
Oh,
up to date on
interesting.
their shots,
Okay.
that they've had their shots and they're not aggressive. So you can bring anything. I mean, they brought big old Airedales, like I said, uh, what I tell you, what's the big white dogs,
Pyrenees, Grand
but
Pyrenees.
yes, Great Pyrenees, they had all kinds of dogs, little Chihuahuas, they had, what's those ones that look like a Chihuahua, but they got the little tusk. Anyway, they had all kinds of dogs there. But yeah, and they even inform people that if you have allergies or fear of dogs, today's not your day to come to the Reds game because yeah, they do that once a year for all, and they
All
fill up a
animals. And see,
stadium.
from my understanding, is if something is pet friendly like that, then they can go, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's the only time they
But
can
not
do.
in general.
But they're allowing pets too. It's not just one.
Yeah.
But if it's strictly just the service animals, then you can't bring your ESA. But yeah, and like I said, this is a meant for all dog owners. So, like I said, the only thing you have to have is an actual signed letter that your dog is not aggressive, that they're up to date on the shot. Oh, they do have to have a wellness check to say they're not sick at the time. So, because dogs can get
Okay. Dogs do
colds
get
and
sick.
flus and stuff like that. So that's why you can't. You have to have it less than 2 weeks. So within the last 7 days, the
Oh,
dog
okay,
has
that's
been
good.
seen by the vet. That way, they know they're not sick. But yeah, on those circumstances, you can. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. Otherwise, really, it would be terrible if people were allowed to bring their ESAs. Oh, I remember before we leave. Um, I'll have to find the law. And
Okay.
again, it's stupid people that want this law. Um, they now allow pets in bars that have a outdoor uh, patio or you know
Right.
eating
I
facility.
think that, yeah,
And you know
I've
what
heard
they
that
did?
too. I don't know
But
anything
guess
about
what
it.
did? It was PetSmart and some of these other um, companies that want to get their dog, get people to adopt dogs. So they bring adoptable dogs to these events to see if people want to adopt the dog. So they bring them to bars and so. But the thing is, if you serve alcohol, technically you're a bar. So Cheesecake Factory has to allow um, these dogs in their outdoor patio. So now, in the nice weather, I have to stay. If I go to Cheesecake Factory to eat, I have to eat inside because they won't let them on the inside, but they will let them, on their patio eating area. But yeah, so places like Cheesecake Factory, Longhorn Steakhouse, any place that's an outdoor eating area and you serve alcohol, and you have to let these organizations bring their adoptable
I didn't know
animals to
that.
be.
Is that specific to Ohio, do you think?
Yes, it's an Ohio
Okay,
law
it's
that was
Ohio
made.
law.
It was made way back before COVID. It was when people were trying to say, "Oh, we should let emotional support animals and blah blah blah." We say, "No, they don't have the training." Ohio says that you can have just basically, and these, I mean, the organizations that they train as best they can, but a lot of them are already a year and a half, 2 years. They don't know what kind of background. They could have been with
Right.
somebody that beat them or stuff. I adopted a one Chihuahua. She was a wonderful dog, but I think somebody must have had a gun because my kids couldn't have a water gun, or you couldn't even point your finger like that. She would cower down and growl. So I think she probably seen a gun before.
Could
And so
be.
when you do this with your finger, it looks like a gun to her. And she didn't like water guns or those, what do you call those, water soakers, that look like a
Super soakers. Yeah.
yeah, so she did not like any of that. So she was only 13 months old when we got no, I take that back. She was only 11 months when we got her. So
Yeah.
evidently she had been exposed to that kind of so like I said, when
That
you're
would be a
bringing
really
these
big deal. In Tennessee, we're allowed open carry and for with guns on their hips. So
yeah,
you can go just about anywhere uh, a lot of times and see somebody with a gun on their hip because we
wow.
do open carry. So if
Oh
you had
wow.
one that was that sensitive, it could be a real challenge if they're in
Yeah.
Tennessee.
But like I said, her name was Ebony. She was a sweet little girl.
All right.
But anyways, I will let you go. We'll do
Okay.
the pictures next week. Maybe and we
More on it.
maybe send them not the YouTube thing a day early, but maybe on Facebook notify people earlier. Did you hear what Peter Parker said? He got his late. So either people got it too early, like Tanya and me and
Yeah, like
someone. Yeah,
some of the notifications went out yesterday.
yeah. And
Yeah,
then I got a name. So I'm like, um, upcoming, like it's coming any time today. So then you don't always check the time on it. It says
sure.
it's upcoming. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube.
Well, I had
But
it had it in the title, so I don't
yeah,
know. But
but
I'll
yeah,
I'll
maybe
know
you
to
do
look
a
for
bigger
that
print.
next time.
make it bigger print for us and don't pay attention.
Well,
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
put it to
And
try
then,
to
like
pay
I said,
attention
save
to
those pictures and we'll do
that.
that next week.
Okay, thank you for
All
coming
right.
in and joining us.
Okay,
And
have a
thank
great
you
week.
all, everybody that's
Yeah,
watching. Thank you all so much.
yeah.
I do want to
Kind of
post
look,
a poll up in the community tab after this because some people, I used to do the live stream on Saturday nights,
right.
and a couple of people are saying, hey, go back to Saturday. So I'm going to leave a little poll on the community tab,
Yeah,
get y'all's input, and you can tell me what you like better. And I just want to remind everybody to go out and always be bodacious.
right.
Don't let life get in the way of living. And again, thank you, Laurel, for
No
coming in.
problem.
I
All
appreciate
right.
it. Okay,
Tell,
you all.
tell John we said hi.
I will. I will.
And
Okay.
Pepsi, Pepsi too.
Of course. Of
All
course.
right.
Give Candy a hug for me.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.